Casemiro, new deal at Manchester United. The details of what could potentially be a groundbreaking, by the sounds of it, we'll get into it, a deal for Casemiro, the Brazilian veteran. We talked about the midfield this morning as well here on Forever United TV. Could Casemiro feature past this season? We've got all that coming up as well. Other midfield targets in the transfer gossip columns again. And Chris Wheeler, Nate Salt from the Daily Mail talking on their piece on Manchester United, looking into the potential signings of maybe, that guy, João Gomez, who we mentioned the other day. Conor Gallagher, who we mentioned the other day. Is it the same story? I'll read it out and then you can guess for yourselves. Is there any more detail in there as well? What might have been this summer with Ruben Amorim and Jason Wilcox if Ruben was left to his devices in the transfer market? Interesting part on that. The Athletic Lloyd Whitwell has been talking in detail as well about certain things going on behind the scenes. Where is Joshua Zirkzee going as well? And Ruben's rule for the players after games. This is very good. I think it's a fantastic idea, by the way. We're going to get into all of that this evening here on Forever United TV. Welcome along to your evening update show, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. Hope you're all in good spirits headed into international break. Yes, it is horrible, boring, but it's the last one. And we're already well and truly into it. So let's just look to the end of it, shall we? I'm already envisaging the light at the end of the tunnel, which is no international football for 3 months after this one. I keep on talking about it. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help it. It's so bad, and it just does our heads in, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get on with the news and get talking. First of all, on this, is this showing ambition for Manchester United? Well, it's not, is it? It's not. Is it clever for Manchester United? This being the potential new deal for Casemiro at Manchester United. Now, look, there's so many different ways that you can look at this. You can be half full, half empty. You can be very, very critical of it. You can be optimistic with it. You can see the cleverness in the deal in what Manchester United are doing. First of all, let's read out the actual news and what's actually been said, because it was Graham Bailey who broke this earlier on today. Manchester United have made contact with Casemiro's camp and floated the idea of a contract extension. Casemiro is receptive to the idea of staying, but the club have made it clear that the terms of the deal would have to be very different to the current contract. Now, that's in terms of it's not going to be the same base rates. There is going to be an awful lot of incentivising within the deal, as in playing bonuses, scoring bonuses, things like this. It basically play to be paid. A lot of it for him to earn his money. It just depends if Casemiro's happy. I mean, let's be honest, he's earned a lot of money over his time at Manchester United already, hasn't he? So you could say that he might be comfortable enough where he's at right now, the money that he's got in the bank. I think anyone should be able to live on what money Casemiro's on anyway. But still, with that being said, is it ambitious enough for Manchester United? Some of the fans will look at this and say that it's just a body in a position when we really should be moving past Casemiro and replacing him with somebody fresher, newer, and who is going to serve the club for many years to come. Casemiro is a make-weight, you could say, in a way. Manchester United, looking at this, are we looking at this with to try and keep some experience, some know-how within the Manchester United squad? Because the players that we're linked to, the potential replacements for these players that are thought to be leaving, well, not now with Casemiro's case, listening to this story, but if they were to leave, then we wouldn't be left with much seniority, some people would say. I would differ. I would think we've got plenty of experience. We've got people who've won World Cups in our squad. We've got people that have been to 3 of the top leagues in Europe in our squad, experienced in the Premier League. Look, I think we've got plenty of senior players in. Just because he's over 30 doesn't mean that he's he's the only senior player. There are other players that have been around for a long, long time. So I don't think that this is an issue. I mean, you could say in terms of examples of professionalism, Casemiro is bettered by nobody at Manchester United. This guy just gets on with business, has his happy home life, does his international football, still playing at the age that he is right now, not even thinking of retiring from international duty. He's nowhere near that. Thinks he should be playing every single week. Doesn't kick up a stink anything at all. Just gets on with business, turns up on time. I don't think anybody at Manchester United has said one bad thing about Casemiro at his time at Manchester United. So in terms of examples, Casemiro right up there, and is probably he's beaten by nobody. Absolutely nobody. I don't care. You can bring Bruno Fernandes into it as well. He's another example of that type of player. But that is a good point from Casemiro as well. And look, don't get me wrong. Like, there is talk coming out, and there's a lot of reports coming out. I think it was James Ducker from the Telegraph today as well. He was saying that within Manchester United's squad, they feel like Champions League football is attainable this season. And we've said this all along ourselves. If United do get it right in January, I think it really is. Now, Sky is saying that Manchester United don't expect to sign anybody in January. Well, we'll see. Because I don't think Man United will make Champions League football if we don't sign another midfielder. I'm pretty convinced of that. Scraping fifth, if everybody stays fit, maybe. But that's a massive if, and we're already seeing a little bit of a stretch in the midfield area now with Casemiro not able to play every minute of every game, which we desperately need in that midfield of the higher quality. This is where I get concerned. So Casemiro, if United make European football next season, staying on a pay as you play contract with a little bit of a money down each month, then I could see that working for Manchester United financially. Another squad player in rotation who knows what Ruben wants, who is professional enough, still fit enough to play a cameo role for Manchester United while we bring somebody bigger in. Now, I get that. I do get that. But it would have to be substantially lower. In fact, please do get into the live chat right now, everybody, and give me what you think is a reasonable wage for Casemiro if he stayed at the football club. So he isn't going to play as much. There's going to be other players ahead of him. He's on an absolute fortune at the moment. So Casemiro on 350 grand a week right now. What would you put? What would you put on this? Don't forget, in this same report, he is receptive to this. He is the one that is open to looking at a cut-down deal as well. So we can't blame the man. He just wants to play football. He wants to play football. Casemiro's on 350 grand a week right now, and he is open to changing that deal. He's open to staying at Manchester United and continue on a lesser contract. Still in with the buzz around Manchester United, it would seem. I mean, he loves it at Manchester United, Casemiro. He absolutely loves it, and everybody loves him, like I just said. So I feel like he is the type of player you need at Manchester United, but you can't afford. He's that type of player, I think. And if he's happy to drop his wages, then there'll be an awful lot of people, and I can see people in the chat right now actually saying, if he's on this much, I would keep him. If he's on that much, or he wants this much, no. I feel like it would be hard if Casemiro was open to this, to let him go again. And this is what is being said. So we'll see if this report is true, first of all, as it comes to it. But I'm already getting plenty of comments in here. How much would you take for Casemiro? 80 grand, 75 grand, 125, 125, 90, 50 plus bonuses. Bit harsh. 150, 120 tops, 80. So I'd say the general is around about 80 to 120 grand a week. I think that's fair with bonuses and add-ons on top. Incentives for Casemiro. I think this works. I think it definitely works, and I expect him, if he is open to this, that type of level of deal, I expect him to stay. Will it be a rolling contract? There's a lot more to come from this, don't forget. So what we're saying here, the initial idea has been floated to his representatives, and he's interested in staying. He's not said he'll accept certain terms yet. In fact, I don't even think we're close to getting there. In fact, I do believe that Manchester United would be thinking about this if, like I just said then, Casemiro Manchester United are successful this season and we get into Europe. If we don't get into Europe, I don't really see Manchester United offering him too much at all. I really don't. I think he's a great player to have as a squad rotation when we need him, if we're in double game weeks again next season. With no European football and the season falling off and United not making it, then I think it might be a different scenario. So I think all of this is being spoken about in in the sort of build up to what potentially might happen by the end of this season. Because if Manchester United actually do make Champions League, Europa League, whatever it may be at the end of this year, then I think Casemiro is a good player to have around. I think the same conversations will be had with Harry Maguire as well. If you really want to invest in the best in class in midfield and you need a bit of a squad, then save yourself some money on a centre-back, put Harry on some form of rolling contract as a squad player, and go out and buy the best 2 midfielders that are on the market and absolutely tune Manchester United up to that point of really being contenders, because that's what that's going to bring. 2 best in class. I would go as far as to say spend 200 million on the best 2 midfielders on the market, and that summer transfer window would be a good transfer window for me. It would. The bonuses would be a striker, would be a left wing back. But if United make Champions League, then they'll have more than enough money to bring in them 2 extra players as well. I think it changes if United don't make Champions League football. I really do think that everything changes. And I think being organised is the best way to go forward here for United. And it does look like we are organised and we're planning every different scenario going towards the end of the season. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy that United are looking into this potentially, and it is just an idea at the moment. Nothing has been signed, sealed and delivered, and again I don't think it will be until we know where we're at. Uncle Casemiro can't run for F's sake, Adam. Well, he can run for 60, 70 minutes, and he has been showing while he's been on the pitch that he holds this midfield together, so he can. Do we need somebody else in? Yeah, of course we do. Can Casemiro do a job off the bench? Oh, you damn right he can. And that's always someone good to have in. If he's willing to be that player, then I don't think any club's bothered about holding on to older players if he's willing to play a part, and a smaller part. This, I think, is the big thing to take from this. No, I don't agree with you, Adam, holding on to the players who have let the club finish 15th. Some are not keeping hold of. Not keep holding on to, I think you're supposed to say there. Old guards, no, Maguire, Bruno, Casemiro need to leave, rebuild with Heaven and Mainu. Not really. I don't see Mainu being a player for Ruben Amorim. We've had this conversation before. It's quite clearly not going to work for him. And if he's going to play Casemiro ahead of him, then he isn't the future for Manchester United. He's just another squad player. And if you've got squad players in, and then you bring in, and I'm not saying that this isn't a rebuild, by the way. If Casemiro stays, it doesn't mean that I'm not wanting to bring in another 2 world-class midfielders. Casemiro then gets in line as a squad player to play the Carabao Cup, coming off the bench to rest these other players that are coming in. The rebuild can still happen with these players in tow because they're on rolling contracts that are affordable for the football club, and not paying Casemiro and Maguire over 600 grand a week between them as the main players at the club. This is what I think Man United fans fear. They fear like it is the old days at this football club and we're not moving forward. No, we're moving forward. We're just doing it in a different way. And if both of these players were on half the wages that they're on right now, then I don't think many people would have any argument with them still being in the squad. They're not going to be starters next season, I don't think. I think Manchester United have got the players that they want in defence, and then they will bring in the midfielders that they want. So still bringing players in, and then they're used as squad players behind them. That's the point I'm trying to make with this. Move Casemiro on. We need to build an entire midfield. That is why always short-termism at this. Well, it's always short-termism at this club. Is it the money-saving project? We have to move forward as a club. Is this not moving forward though? Look, I'm happy for him to leave. I think Manchester United have got a plan to bring other midfielders in no matter what happens. And as long as we're not relying on these players as starters, I'm still okay with that. They will eventually leave. I've always said this all along. Dalot, not good enough to start. Casemiro needs to be replaced. Doesn't mean that he can't have a role on the bench. These are second players right now. This is where they are. That's where I think their category is in Manchester United's squad. They're the rotation players. You still need to bring in 4 starting 11 players to this squad, I feel. Still need 4. That's 2 midfielders, 1 left-sided wing-back, and I feel, well, you could probably get away with 3, but I always feel like we need another experienced striker in there as well. So I would say 3 more, definitely. And then we're really rocking and rolling. I do think that that's the way forward for United. Look, I'm not saying that he's the saviour and he should stay and he should be on big wages and this is the future of Manchester United. I'm not. I don't think that's the case at all. I just feel like United have got a plan still in here and it's not the end of the world. Look, United need to move forward. We'll end it on that regarding the Casemiro situation. I'm not saying that he is going to stay and we're not going to bring somebody in. I think that's what some people are actually thinking. If he's offered a 2-year deal on reduced terms that he'll sign, he may retire from international football after the World Cup. Could well do, Graham. That might be a good point to bring up there in conversation because Casemiro will be involved in the World Cup, I think. In terms of would you be happy with Casemiro staying, is a poll we've got running right now. And at the moment, 51% of you are saying no. I do believe that most of the fans think that it's keep Casemiro and bring nobody else in. That's not what I'm getting at. I need to make that very, very clear. If he stays, he's third choice at best for starting games for Man United. That's where I'm at. And so you can see where I'm going with that. If he's on really cheap wages, reduced terms, and he's on the bench, and he's covering, and he's helping these players get used to playing at Manchester United, integrating them in and covering them when they need a rest, then that's fine. That's the type of position he needs to be in right now. Not relying on him week in, week out to try and save Manchester United. We can't be relying on Casemiro. Ugarte and Casemiro will leave in the summer, says Austin. Very well may do. Is that the way? Oh, forget it. I said that all wrong. May well do. Because history has shown that is Manchester United's mentality. But again, God, why do people not listen when I'm saying this? This is not the history. This is Ineos. And they're not going to just keep these players on like we did before. History tells us a lot. History is exactly that. The history now. Manchester United are moving forward with a football structure. That's the difference. So, again, you can argue many points for Casemiro and many against him, but he isn't a starter. I think we're all agreeing on that for United now. And if he's happy to stay around on very, very cheap wages, then I'm all right with that. But he is and does need to be third or fourth choice in that midfield too, I feel, if he's going to feature at all for Manchester United. But let's see. Look, it's just an idea and it has been floated to his people. So there's nothing definite in this yet. There's nothing 100%. So don't overly panic if you are thinking that United are just clinging onto the old guards again to save money. It isn't the case. It's just the initial phase, the initial stages, of potential talks with Casemiro. Anyway, the midfield department is where Chris Wheeler and Nate Salt have been talking this evening as well. Now, we've already covered this on the show this week already. I picked up on the same story and the Daily Mail are running this story now, which is that Manchester United are monitoring Wolves midfielder João Gomez. Other players that are on the list are Carlos Baleba, Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton. Thanks for that amazing update there, the Daily Mail. Tell us something that we didn't know already. Again, I think a few journalists just catching up and filling their own sort of columns and pages at the moment. And again, we know about João Gomez. We know Manchester United are open to bringing in midfielders, but it's very difficult in January. The fact that Chris Wheeler and Nate Salt are mentioning João Gomez there in the same breath as Carlos Baleba and Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton is clutching a little bit, in my opinion, because we know that they're not going to be going all out for a Gomez ahead of an Elliot Anderson. We spoke this morning regarding what Florian Plettenberg was saying around the story and potential sign of Elliot Anderson. Now, again, United just need to take what opportunities come their way in January, but there really won't be many. And it's going to take like I said this morning, some hell of a substantial bid to try and prize any of their prize assets away from other clubs in the Premier League. And João Gomez is one of them at Wolves, just like Wharton Anderson and Baleba at Brighton, Forest and Palace respectively. So yeah, with the Gomez news, again, we covered it on Monday morning. That was our story yesterday morning. It's the same story that everyone else is running right now. And this is proof of it, because in the same article, Chris Wheeler also goes on to say, a January signing for Manchester United cannot be ruled out. And Conor Gallagher may be an option on loan with a view to a 45 million summer move. Now, I'll tell you exactly what's happened there. The 45 million price tag bit at the end has just come about because Atletico wanted that much for him in the summer. They've added that in there at a guess, is my guess on that one, because that's the price tag that was being mooted and sent around when the summer transfer window was open. Manchester United, according to Romano, says no quick fixes. So that would initially rule out Conor Gallagher, unless there was a fee on the end. So it's the same loan move, a quick fix, but to avoid that, Man United are not going to take quick fix players backlash. They've added the potential of a £45 million option to buy him in the summer. Now, that definitely wouldn't sit with a lot of Man United fans, because last time we put it out there for Conor Gallagher to be a potential long-term target for Man United, everybody was in, it wasn't a full-on meltdown. It was a definite no. The votes have it. It's a no for Conor Gallagher in terms of long-term. I think people are actually thinking, would it be Conor Gallagher in place of one of the bigger players that we're looking at, the Whartons, Elliot Andersons or Carlos Balebas? Then if that's the case, then we don't want Conor Gallagher. I think that's where a lot of Man United fans were looking at it. It just depends how many midfielders Man United want. Now, The Athletic are running another live show today, and there will be loads of quotes coming out of that potentially, although they don't like the live shows to actually be released, so no phones allowed. But Graham is in that show tonight. He travelled down to watch the Athletic podcast as well. So, again, I think we'll be hearing the same story. And Andy Mitten has already said it. 2 midfielders for Manchester United this summer. And, again, if there is an opportunity, they will look at it. But I feel like if one of the summer targets becomes available, they will go for him in January. Why would you spend 45 million on Conor Gallagher when you could probably spend, I'd say, you might get closer to doubling that price and getting a better player in Elliot Anderson? That's where we're at. Unless Gallagher was the other player, like the second midfielder, and you go and get one of them big three. I think Manchester United have got the money to buy both or 2 of them big three players, Baleba, Anderson and Wharton. I think that's there for United. And I think the worry for United would be like committing to a signing in January through a loan deal like Gallagher, and then having him there in the squad and him being pushed back then in the summer. It's a big investment for a player that you're not going to play that much. And that's the worry. If we were going to spend money, I wouldn't want it to be at Conor Gallagher. That's my opinion on that. But let's check out the chat and let's see what you all think regarding Conor Gallagher. Would you take Conor Gallagher over Casemiro? There's a question for everyone that needs to be answered. Will be interesting to see realist. Most players, yes, but it does seem he loves Manchester and his wife apparently too. Life isn't short of life isn't short of a bob or two. On Casemiro. I want Gallagher, but not as a permanent deal. Then we'll take our chances with Kone and Mainu. Kone and Mainu over Conor Gallagher. The good thing Gallagher got for himself, he is British. Since we are most likely selling Mainu, he is a good replacement. I guarantee you most people would go for Mainu over Gallagher. If I put a poll up right now and ask the question, Kobbie Mainoo or Conor Gallagher, the majority, and I think vast majority would say Kobbie Mainoo, 100%. I just think Gallagher is an engine and he's got qualities, but everyone else we're looking at seems to be better. I would take João Gomez over Conor Gallagher. I would. Don't get me wrong, the only reason he's come up in conversation is because there is a potential loan there and a quick fix to see Manchester United through to then give us the opportunity to potentially be in Europe and spend that bigger money on the midfielders that we really want in the summer. I think that's where we're at with it. Buying Gallagher or Anderson has got to be only if the price is right. As says Paul, I don't mind Gallagher as a loan with an option to buy. Depends how he does. He's not a bad player, but again, Tom says there with the super chat, Conor Gallagher, no thanks. People just don't rate certain players, I think. And I think when you've been linked with bigger and better players, it's a bit of a come down and you just don't think it's worth it. You don't think it's as good a player or a gooder option for us because you've seen something being talked about that sounds better, looks shinier, and in our opinion would be the better fit. Yes, all of the other three. In fact, some people would say Stiller, Gomez, Wharton, Anderson, Baleba are all better. He's about 6th or 7th on the list right now. Gallagher on loan, absolutely. He's better than what we currently have, says Anthony Wisdom. Gallagher at 40 million is a good deal. English quota, be a very good squad player. We still need 3 or 4 central midfielders. He fits the bill nicely, strengthening central midfield overall. I could see why people would say that. It's a fair point, Carl. Definitely for squad matters, Conor Gallagher definitely helps Manchester United. I mean, I don't mind having Conor Gallagher sat on the bench if we go out and buy another 2 midfielders in the summer. I'm all for that. Is he? That's another question, isn't it? I mean, he's not playing football right now at Atletico Madrid, so he is playing. He's just not getting as much, but that changes in the season anyway. And like we said before, there's still 5-6 weeks left until the January transfer window actually opens. So potentially his situation might change for the better at Atletico Madrid, and that deal's off anyway. Look, I think it's just an obvious one because he wasn't getting much game time at the start of the season. I remember doing a video on it and reporting on it. He wasn't getting the game time he wanted. He's English. He is still young enough. He knows the Premier League. He fits everything that Manchester United might want in a quick fix over a January transfer window. That's why he's been linked. Gallagher is a very limited footballer, says Boxing. Gallagher is a great squad player, says Austin. Not a starter, though. Doesn't matter who we bring in. If they're playing with Bruno, they're going to struggle a lot. Well, some people would like to play next to Bruno Fernandes. Some people are perfect to play. And I think this is what Ruben's trying to find. Hi, I don't think Casemiro has to go. He will only take the place of a young player on the bench who is the future and needs that experience, and the youth player costs nothing. No, he does cost something. I get what you're saying, because I've always said this before, actually, with the blockers. But Manchester United are lacking in midfielders, and I think Casemiro's been spoken about, and I didn't add this in before. So the comment there is dead right, because it sounds like I'm being a bit contradictory there and going back on what I've always said, like get these older players out there blocking the younger players coming through. I think Agate and Mainu are both gone. That's why I'm saying it. And I know that there's still room for Kone, even if Casemiro stays. I still think United will bring in another 2 midfielders on top of Kone. Maybe 3 more midfielders coming to Manchester United, because I don't see a world where Kobbie Mainoo is a United player if Ruben's in charge. Because of Bruno Fernandes, yes, but also because I know that Kobbie Mainoo fits in a 3-man midfield and not a 2. Now, there is a story from Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic about Jason Wilcox. Constant dialect, constant communication and talking with Ruben every single week. Now, there is a report going around on whether or not he has got any influence over Ruben and the way he plays. I doubt it. He'll have the conversations and he'll help him out. But I do believe that Ruben sticks to his guns no matter what. Now, Ruben has always said he's willing to change his system when the time is right and it's on his terms. Now, Wilcox is apparently an admirer of the 4-3-3, Laurie Whitwell has said, that Manchester City had so much dominance with. And Ruben has, in fact, set his team up in defensive structure and in training games in a 4-3-3. This is just to work on certain moments in game and phases of play, though, apparently. It's been played down a little bit. I don't see a world where Man United are playing a 4-3-3 under Ruben Amorim. Look, it's adaptable and it can happen. And certain times in games you can actually see that sort of shape creeping in with Manchester United because one of the 10s drops back in. And then you've got a forward like Ahmad who just goes in as well and then just makes it a 3 instead of a 4. It's a better formation, I think, for the players that we've got right now if we're not going to buy anyone. So I think this is why it's been mentioned. Yeah, Wilcox likes a 4-3-3 and he's talking to Ruben Amorim every single week. We know that he's talking to him every single week because he said this to us in an interview last week. But again, I don't think he's going to have any influence over Ruben's decision to change his shape and style formation. But maybe a word with him. Why not try this? This part of the game, this might work better for us. If you want to bring Kobbie Mainoo on, why don't you bring him on for one of the wing backs and play a 4-3-3? You could easily, if he's playing Dalot, and he's got Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes still on the pitch, take Dalot off and put Kobbie Mainoo on and play a 4-3-3. Put Casemiro in the middle, Bruno on the left and Mainoo on the right of that 3. Then Manchester United could look a completely different team. There were moments in games where he's probably thinking about it and changing it up. But again, I do believe that Kobbie fits in with a 3-man midfield. And the only way he survives is if Ruben changes. Agate doesn't stand a chance. And I think he's gone. I do. I don't think Manchester United have got any sort of plans in the future with Manuel Agate. I don't see that man surviving at the club. So, yes, that's why I think Casemiro could stay, because we are going to be moving players on. Definitely moving players on. And I don't think it's going to be a big contract anyway. If United want to go out and buy 2 midfielders but still move Manuel Agate on, you could easily bring Sekou Kone through and buy another 2 midfielders. And then you still got the 4 there realistically alongside Bruno Fernandes. And I don't even think Bruno will have the same amount of game time if he does buy 2 midfielders in. It's going to be interesting of the profile of player and where they play, whether they're 8s or 8/6s. I think Elliot Anderson will be a key one to watch because he can play both. Bloody marvellous, says Andrew. Gallagher, a Chelsea reject, and now looking like an Athletic reject in the Italian league, and we think we will go higher in the league with such a player. Spanish league, mate, Andrew. I get what you're saying though, buddy. I'd love us to go to a 4-3-3. I still don't like the 3 at the back. 2-man central midfield is crap, says Cal. I don't think anyone can judge Sesko yet. Way too early. We're not even talking about Sesko being judged. I'm just panning that conversation away, mate, to be honest. I think they're idiots. People who are having a go at Benjamin Sesko. If Agate, Casemiro and Mainoo go and Bruno is not really a midfielder, we need 3 midfielder signings. Just been saying that as well, mate. You're right. We definitely do. Ruben is slowly showing signs of flexibility. I think there's a bit there, Steve. Yeah, I think you're right, buddy. I think we have seen little bits of it. I do. Thank you, everybody, for all the likes, by the way, already on the show. I still can't believe we're already over 30 minutes in. I don't know where that time has gone. But yeah, please keep popping a like on the video. Let's get that up over 200 if we can, please, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on the show this evening. Casemiro needs to be a starter or he will drop off, so he needs to go. I don't think so. I think you get to a point in your career where you realise that you can't play every single game. Casemiro, 5 conceded goals off the field, 15 goals. Casemiro is better than anyone we have at the moment, youth or otherwise. That's the fact. We don't have to like it. I don't think that's the point, really. I think it's Manchester United fans are looking at a situation where we've got to this point where it is Casemiro or bust, and they don't like that. I think that's what it is. Gallagher was Palace's best player when he was there. He would be a great squad player next season and be perfect starter for the rest of this season. Lots of people bigging up the Conor Gallagher one there tonight, actually. It's like a completely different one. It's like I do a show in the morning, no one likes Gallagher. I do a show in the evening, and there's loads of people that like Gallagher. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? Cobby needs to start games, then you can start judging him. Adam, stop acting like you own United. Am I acting like I own United, really? Or am I just spitting facts that Ruben doesn't like him? Why? Well, I'm not judging or acting like I own United. I'm going off the fact that Cobby started 0 in 11 games for him, and we're lacking in numbers in midfield, mate. So, yeah, that's what it is, pal. Not me. Just what's happening in front of you. If you want to ignore it, that's fine. But please don't say I'm trying to own United. I'll talk down about him. It is what it is, buddy. Simples. Let's see what else we got in here. Any more comments on Gallagher and Casemiro, please? Ruben will show everything when he gets his midfield. Anderson will change us completely next season. Just need to survive this season. What's survival for you, Savage, buddy? What is survival? Is it getting into the Champions League? We aren't hearing much about the Sporting midfielder captain at the minute. That Morten Hjulmand. I've got him down on my list, to be honest. I don't like... I like the player. He's a good player. But no, I don't think so. I don't think he'll be coming. Pete, evening buddy as well. Hello everyone who's just joining us now. Cal says Cobby's finished at this club under Aaron. People can't handle it, but the facts are there for everyone to see. I think that's what I just said there as well, mate, innit? Adam, you can't please become the owner. Can you please become the owner? I haven't got enough money, mate. Sorry. I haven't. I do not know. I like the structure that's in place right now. I like what Ineos are doing. I like the people that are working at the club, and I think they are taking us in the right direction. I really do. Anyway, moving on. Ruben Amorim. No, quickly before that one, Sky Sports reporting that Joshua Zirkzee, as we've reported already last night, the update on Benjamin Sesko's injury is going to be key for the likes of Joshua Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo going forward this season, for game time in particular. But with the news still not with us, Romano said we were expecting something tonight. Well, he hinted at it. Didn't completely say it, but they do need to update us and let us know how severe the injury is yet. But on the back of that, obviously there's a lot of talk on Joshua Zirkzee's future. And Sky today have said that Joshua Zirkzee is a top target for... Yes, a top target for Everton this January transfer window. So Everton looking for another player. We heard about the West Ham links as well with Kobbie Mainoo. They're also interested in Joshua Zirkzee as well. But there is definite links for at least 3 Premier League clubs now for Joshua Zirkzee, and Everton would definitely take him on. And he's apparently a top target, according to Rob Dossett of Sky Sports News this afternoon. But he's the same person that said that Man United don't expect to buy anyone in January. I mean, whoever he's talking to at Manchester United, you're never going to get anything given away. We're all realistic about how Manchester United are going to approach this January transfer window. It's an opportunistic window for Man United, and it's going to be a difficult one to get anything done. But we could see outgoings. I don't think we'll see Joshua Zirkzee leave, however, if that Benjamin Sesko injury is bad. But he's ready to go, and there are plenty of clubs ready to take him. So let's see what deal Man United get out of that as well. Zirkzee and Ghana, interesting, says Kuto the Red. Dude can't play 90 minutes on one match a week. We can't extend that. So much for new brains trust. Casemiro off the bench is not a bad option, is all we're saying. That's it. There is still a plan to do the rebuild. It's not the future of Man United. We're not saying that. And again, I think we just need to put that out there. And that's why I put the question in the title, really. Is this ambitious enough for Manchester United? A lot of fans would say no. And I get that. I totally get it. Good move for Zirkzee's Everton. Qatar in, Glazers out, the gym out. We need a new station. Or stadium is supposed to say. Yeah, the new stadium will come even with Ineos in charge, mate. And again, I think they're getting a bad rap because they're in bed with the Glazers. But They've done so much more than the Glazers in such a short space of time. I still don't get why people think that Ineos are bad for Manchester United. I don't. It's 20 times better than what it was. And everybody can see that with just how Man United are operating. Would you get who would you get in January out? Sorry, say that one again. Who would you get in January out of you think you can get out of everyone you think you could get in, Adam? I think that's supposed to say there. Sorry about that, Andy, mate. I don't think any of them are gettable. I don't. I would like to see Sekou Kone step forward. If you can get one of the players, I'll go for Elliot Anderson. That's where I would go. I would go and slap a massive fee on the table of Marinakis and see what he says. And then at least we know where we stand going into the summer, worst case scenario. But I think he's ready to go. I think he's ready to go personally. And I think going off what's been said, I think United is the top target for him, top club. Let's just see how that develops. The longer Newcastle stay down where they are, the better chance United have got as well, because they were also very heavily linked with Elliot Anderson as well. So let's hope for Newcastle's form to continue where it is, and let's see if Manchester United can really test out Nottingham Forest resolve in this January transfer window. I'd get Elliot Anderson in January. That would send a shivering message to the likes of Chelsea and Spurs there. It would indeed. It would be big. It would be massive, actually. Also, the news I was going to... Well, it's not news, but something that Ruben Amorim has put in the match day setup. So, half of Manchester United squad players have to stand and sign autographs for players before the game. And the other half have to do it after the game. I think that's a fantastic idea, because I've been there working late on several occasions, and them fans will stand there for hours, no matter what the weather. And the majority of the time, the players just walk past every single time. I know they don't have any commitments, and they don't have to do it, but it is painful watching it sometimes. Kids on school nights just waiting there. All they have to do is spend another 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes even, just with the fans, moving along, signing a few autographs. It goes a long way with the fan base. And I think it brings us all together. It brings the players closer to the fans as well. But I think that's a great idea from Ruben. If that is true and that's what's being reported, he's making the players do that. I think it is probably one of the smartest moves. It will help the players as well. It will. I think it's easier to do it now we haven't got the likes of Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, players like this. You've got plenty of players that are invested into the project at Man United right now under Ruben Amorim, and I think this is a good time to actually sort of spread the love, best way of describing it. Like, get out there, meet the fans, and do your bits. Ruben does it every single game. He leads by example, so yeah, it's definitely a good thing for me, and I think the fans will show more appreciation, and the connection is big for these players right now with his fan base. It's all well and good until you have grown men shoving kids out the way like morons. What is Gems alluding to there? Potentially something that she's seen before. I'm not sure. Let us know which one that was, Gems. Get rid of Agate. He gives me a stinking feeling when... a stinging feeling like when Anana's name used to appear on the team sheet. He's a worry, isn't he? He is a worry. I feel, Manuel Agate, I think he's dropped off, and that's why Enrique got rid of him. Ruben got rid of him in the first place, but I think he's dropped off. I think he's already thought he'd made it. Going from PSG to Manchester United, you would in your head, wouldn't you? I'm not saying he's a problem. I'm not saying he's a problem at all behind the scenes or anything like that. He might be professional, but he's definitely dropped off because he is too easy to get past. Way too easy to get past for me. And he is not the type of holding midfielder Manchester United need right now. 100% has to be improved in that area of the pitch. It's important. I love it when I see how happy it makes young fans that just literally being there and saying hello can change their lives. You're dead right about that, Greg. It is huge. Rooney's autograph was an X. Was it? I never got an autograph from Wayne Rooney. I got one off Eric the King. Eric was always the best. Back in the 90s when he used to go down to the cliff to get autographs. And Eric Cantona, every single time he went down the whole line, made sure that every single Manchester United fan had a signed autograph or programme or whatever it was, autograph book back in them days. And he did it every single training session without fail. That guy was an absolute legend. And do you know who else was good back in the heyday? And I remember this. This is a true story because I was there. And Gary Neville was mithering David Beckham. He used to drive him to Carrington in his Vauxhall Corsa when he was an academy player. And he was stood there mithering David Beckham to hurry up and get in the car. And Bex just went down the line signing autographs. I love that about Beckham, honestly. Not thinking he'd already made it, not thinking he was too big. David Beckham was great as well with the fans back in the day. He probably don't get enough credit for it either. But Gary Neville was the awkward one, believe it or not, back when I was there in the 90s. And that's me. That was my story. I've seen that happen in front of me. But yeah, Beckham had a lovely red Vauxhall Corsa Mark 1 back in the day, early 90s. Anyway, that is our show this evening, everybody. I'm off to training now with the girls, so have a great evening, everybody. Get your comments in on Casemiro. Is it ambitious, or is it Manchester United just filling another hole? Is it like the old days, or is this going to be different with this make-weight deal? Get into the comments section, let me know. Hit the like button as well, everybody, if you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you all 8 o'clock in the morning. Have a great evening.